Good morning. We doing out there? We got a red day yesterday. Well, it was pretty nasty as it headed down late in the afternoon. But we got to put it in perspective. And internals have been telling us, warning, as you could see here. And there was a few questions yesterday related to, okay, what happened with our internals? Like, this sell-off is kind of nasty, and have they gotten closer? Like, is things okay? I was like, not even a chance. So, which suggests there's more to come. However, one red day doesn't change the trend. Just looking at the internals here, you can see sentiment is still way up there as it was back here. And so this time we didn't get the acceleration, which often ends the move. In addition, this was a much more obvious reversal, meaning the implications of the turn, meaning it had gapped up and then gapped down, and then the wide rainbow, big red bar. So now we've just got a red bar, and let's see if I can drag this down a little bit. We'll look at it anyway. But, we had gotten the gap up yesterday, and then it closed down below all of the prior day's lows. So in MT Live yesterday, and I got a couple of emails about that people wanted like clarifications, reversal bar versus correction bar. Is it the same? Is it different? And what we explained yesterday was that correction bars, well, let me back up for a second. Corrections have pullbacks. Right? That's a definition. Corrections can correct through price, go down, or correct through time, go sideways. Sometimes they do both, and that's kind of like a trading range, right? Where you got highs and lows. Anyway, a correction bar has to break a day, maybe 2 or 3 days lows and recover, something like this. So, and we look for those within the trend. So we can have that obviously, but a topping tail that takes out highs and reverses back down in the downtrend. That's going to be the most potent of those type of correction bars. Now we've got a correction bar, right, that took out the highs and it took out the lows, but it's in an uptrend. So it's not the same as if we had this going down, but we have internals that have been warning us for a while now. Dan said it correctly in the video last night that he did. It was kind of okay. I think you said something like, all right, we're a broken record for 2 weeks, but here it is. And the implications of this type of reversal is that more is coming. So we've got that warning. We've got the internals saying, hey, here's the start of a corrective type of price action. And, we shall now check what happens day by day. And so we've got the break on the hourly, of course. And I don't know, Anthony. Could be my internet connection if everybody's getting kind of in and out, or maybe it is you. Volume's fine. Okay. So we look at where our price is likely to go. So 3640 on SPX looks like a bunt, right? It's real close. Here's the next area of congestion, and you can see the lows down here in that area. There's an unfilled gap, and then the difference here versus what I had showed you earlier, right? The acceleration is that the acceleration leaves a void and a lot easier to drop. Whereas what we have now is what I've been saying is this self-correcting uptrend that prices have been in, that, talked about resting periods and then the move up and the pullback and resting periods, and all of that leaves all these other areas of congestion to the left. The implications of that is, unless some other news comes out to scare the hell out of, buyers, which of course now, some of them over the last week or so are caught holding losses. And this doesn't even show us individual stocks that could have been running higher and have greater implications of a move down. So this type of a pattern is one in which it's more likely historically to be an erratic kind of a corrective price action as to moves down and hits support and buyers show up again and so on. Now, that's the historical norm. If for some reason today we see this cut through these areas like a hot knife through butter, obviously that tells us that the selling is so much more severe and sellers in control. We don't know what's going to happen. So we that's why we monitor what happens day to day and update our opinions as to what's likely to happen. The same way if, something crazy was to happen, hey, it gapped up above the high of the red bar today. So this is where the bar by bar analysis comes in that we talked about yesterday that guides us on a day-to-day basis. So we'll see what today brings. Yesterday was a wider range bar, and historically we get narrow range bars after that where we get some consolidation. And so we'll just look at, the futures and see, what's going on and so on. Yeah, it could be an inside day, when it goes to saying. 1 second. Somebody in UP asked me if there was a show yesterday. Yes, and it was, got lots of accolades on that one. People loved it. And I'll see while Dan's talking, I'll find you the link so that you can watch it. All right. So what are the futures markets doing here today? Continuing to drop. So yesterday's drop, created a pivot and then overnight, whatever. And so it didn't take much to the upside into the void above to get sellers to show up again. More of a bear flag type of a pattern, obviously more bearish. And, when it creates the void, sometimes they can rally back up quite significantly. Well, that didn't happen. Now it's created a new resistance area, new major resistance area since it's broken through the low, and a minor resistance area here. Now thereabouts. I see you got these two pivot lows if it can retrace back up again. And so these pivots that are down here, well, I don't know, they could be intraday stopping, maybe not. It's already gone through it. So it would appear that we're buyers going to want to be more comfortable setting up. Well, we look to the left, as this says every day. Don't need trend lines, you don't need fib lines, you don't need VWAP or any of the other fine tools. Simply look to the left. And that's where the stopping points are. Now, after 3640, should be, more downside coming into this area here. We see these pivots. Now, that doesn't mean it drops, straight down. It certainly could, but that would be highly unusual after a day like yesterday. But, 3,600, getting through here without any kind of significant retracement back up is the obvious reference point there. The big whole number, could drive down through the tails before that, but, step by step. And then there's another void below that down here to 3540. So we'll see how it all goes. That's what we do. And here, we've got today and tomorrow, but it looks like we're finally getting a red bar on the weekly time frame. And so the significance of this one, as we look at the patterns, is that you had 3 weeks of resting, right? Back to this market and the rest and the move up and down. And so we'll see where this ends the week. But now we've got a 3-week resting period, a bottoming tail bar that closed at the high. I wrote about this in the weekend letter. The closing at the high and all of the implications of the prior week's trading. And I said, this thing better go up, because if it doesn't, it's going to, I'm going to go what I said, but it's going to be a problem. And obviously, last week's low, 3,600, coming down there. Obviously, we've now got a breakout failure and all the internals that we've talked about, so on and so forth, corrective price action. But that isn't going to change the weekly time frame being in an uptrend. So weekly trend is still up. Monthly trend is still up. The daily trends are obviously coming into question. We'll see if they actually break and how far this all goes. There's no link on YouTube because, if I'm saying your name right, Rebelty, I removed it. There you go. McGraw's gamma ray gun is pointing to June of 2021. I love these guys that call these crazy things into the future. I warn you not to get hooked up on all of that stuff, because all of a sudden some bar comes out of nowhere or something happens and all of a sudden, all of those things change. Just look at the chart. What he's been sharing with us about the gamma ray stuff, whatever. I don't know what they said about yesterday. It sounds like interesting stuff, but as I said in yesterday's pre-market analysis, they make it sound like this option trading stuff is what moves the world. And obviously, to me, I say not. It's interesting stuff, but to look at that is to be like, this is what moves the markets and influences what happens, around the world, so to speak, because U.S. market and the other markets kind of follow along. I wouldn't get hung up on that, but, let's review that data, over the next month or so, and let's see how reliable it is and how we can utilize it. And it's definitely interesting, but, always comes down to looking to the left, and is the trend up, down, or sideways? All right, NASDAQ futures coming down here. They're into the void. I don't see anything's going to stop them, right? By looking to the left here. Doesn't mean they can't create some support. Maybe 12,200. It's pushing down toward last week's low. Obviously, people are nervous. Right? Longs are caught. And all right. So the Dow, more of a sideways grinder, which it has been. And I mentioned VXX yesterday, Chris, and near the end of the day as a possible long. And I don't know if anybody did it, but it was a pretty potent reversal. I'll show you, different than the prior one over here, where it was kind of a bottoming kind of a pattern. Now you've got the breakdown failure and reversal back up, which is what the market did. And it implies that this is going to go higher. So something that should be considered. Dow down 136.7. And another example of plenty of chop here to try and get through. So you got to keep an eye on these different markets. While the NASDAQ's got plenty of room to drop, the S&Ps and the Dow have these reference points, and that could be areas where these pop up and the NASDAQ just pops in sympathy with it. The Russell's been the leader, and plenty of support here for buyers to step up. Topping tail forming, and this is an extended move. What I showed you on the S&Ps, back months ago, which opens the door to, the biggest winner potentially having the risk of the biggest correction. That's always the way. But it does have reference points to the left where it had that same type of chop, 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 move up, chop, 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 move up. Okay. And bonds, right, holding on the support for weeks now. Just so really sloppy. I don't know. We'll see if this holds or whether this can move back up. And if it does, of course, interest rates moving down, and that's not good. long term, but we'll see. Ideally, this would break down below here and interest rates move up, and this correction, gets out of the way, and we still have, good long-term information, for the market, long-term trend, and so on. But we'll see how that comes in. When we do a market review a little later this month on MT Live, we'll cover all that kind of stuff. Oil, acting pretty good, right? Sideways, right? Still extended here. I guess oil traders better be a little careful here. It's based on what I've already covered, but while this looks good, could get caught in some kind of a breakout failure there. And gold, broke down. I'm kind of still thinking, especially with this election thing, if I think, I mentioned this yesterday, I know I was in the green room here, if by some chance the Democrats win the Senate and brain damage Biden really is the president, I think, and the Green Deal starts to unfold, I think gold is going to soar as those people start printing money. And silver has shown relative strength and could be the real winner if these shiny metals get turned around, as the less of a correction, and silver could be the one that really outperforms gold. We shall see. And the euro kind of making a bull flag over here, and so keep an eye on the dollar and the euro, and because of the implications of how that might affect oil and potentially gold. And so this little breakout here suggests it's going to go higher. Dollar lower. Inflation thing continues to play out. And transports, we always cover, held up pretty darn well yesterday, huh? Really well. And we'll see what they do today, because during corrections, pretty much everything pulls back. But recently, the Dow and the Dow transports gave that Dow theory buy signal not too long ago. They're still in uptrends in a longer time frame, so we'll see how far this correction pulls them down. That's it for me. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning. So we're down to 2 positions in the weekly options trader. We were playing defense yesterday, across the board, tightening stops. So our only opens are bear call credit spreads in the Qs and Zoom. Look at that. That's what we call a railroad track, declining 20 MA with beautiful lower lows, lower highs. I've been saying for a while, based on this weekly and monthly, I just think this is heading down to the 200. We have to keep an eye on that for a directional short. All the others I think are fine in the advisory letter, so just ask me if you have a question. Let's go right to gappers. Yeah, exactly, Nathan. That thing drives me bananas. All right, Starbucks here. I just saw the CEO on the news, so I looked at the stock, and look at that, gap in all-time highs. So I posted in the room earlier. I mean, look at this. $50, only 25% of office buildings occupied. And I'm sure they get a lot of coffee sales from people going to work, right? So why is this at all-time highs? Just another head scratcher to me, but it is what it is. So that's bullish. We got to keep an eye on it. What can I say? Quebec Sierra. Okay, this one's gapping down, but I got a couple parabolic ones here. Look at Delta Mike earlier this morning. It was gapping way up here, as you can see on the 15-minute chart. So this one and edit. Look at these parabolic moves. Look at that, just straight up. The biggest wide range bar in the stock's life, biggest volume. The end is near, or short term, and that is. I just don't know what it's going to look like. So right now it's gapping up and coming in. It's still in an uptrend. So I'm not going to do anything with it, but it's a short term top. It's a bio. The old TRNE. But okay, I don't even know what TRNE was. All right, so those are on my short list. All right, thanks, FT. Yeah, I did see one byline that they showed the number of trades that they have. 3D printing. All right, thanks. I don't care about the numbers, but they said yeah, they had X number of stores and they want to add that many more. All right, this reminds me of our MT live called the Turn, TURN. So look at the turn here at the rising 20. Now it's gapping up 241. It's excessive, but it's still worthy of let's see how it shapes up. This one's gapping down 15 bucks. So that's kind of a head and shoulders, left shoulder with a big old head, right shoulder and gapping under the neckline. So that might set up for a day trade short. William 33. Yeah, I like that. It trades very sloppy though. So that's I probably am not going to have any interest in it, but it is a very bullish gap breakout. William, yes. So what you then do is put it in a 5-minute thumbnail and see how it sets up. Yep, Neo's weak. Yeah, we're in solo here. Yep, it's weakening. We legged into a covered call at least yesterday. Facebook, they were under fire yesterday, getting sued. Antitrust. Yeah, I'm just looking up at the 15-minute charts of all my all the FANG stocks, and they sure gave up their morning strength. I mean, look at this, folks. Yesterday morning, there was a lot of good-looking things, like Apple looked fantastic. Wide range breakout, price void on the daily, and then immediate 180 reversal. I mean, there were so many things and that's why in the green room, we just, I told people, I'm like, hey, bring, send me your ideas. But if you're talking about going long, my name is going to be the James Bond character, Dr. No. It's going to be no, 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 no. I wasn't interested in longs yesterday. And, it's because of the morning chaotic action and then whatever news came out, continue the weakness. John's asking about Zoom. Yeah, let's see, what's the question? Add to Zoom for next week. Yeah, we on the bear call credit spread. Sure. Yeah. It's in it. Yeah, there's no reason not to. Just see if you can get a balance, time it with the market. But yeah, I'm watching it for a new directional trade. Isaac, the problem is it is strong. It is in an uptrend. It is on the rising 20. I want more of what we call a potent reversal. for a couple reasons. One is there's no support to the left. So if there's no support to the left and you don't get a potent turn, then they're susceptible of going up and failing and going down to the next level, which would be way the heck down here on minor support. Secondly, the market fired a warning shot yesterday and it's weak pre-market. So unless something is genuinely what we say on its own page and not caring about the market, like I'd rather buy Starbucks than Target, then I'm not interested. When I talk about potent reversal, I remember dunking from yesterday or 2 days ago. So today's Thursday. So see Tuesday's bar. That's what I mean, a potent reversal, that it went down, took out a bunch of stops, bottoming tail, range expansion that closed strong. Compare that reversal to this. Do you see the huge difference? So those are all the reasons why I wouldn't rush into it. Yeah, Eric, I told Greg and I typed it in here. Dash public yesterday, DoorDash, the Journal said they closed the day with a market cap of over $71 billion for delivering pizza to your house. Are we being serious now? I mean, we could talk about this for hours. I mean, just give me the S&P 500. Give me the S&P 500 for 71 billion and lower. And I would like to see all of the Fortune 100 companies that this is now dwarfing. What's General Motors worth? I don't even know. Like, I don't know, 80, 110, I don't know. Is this thing in the same ballpark as General Motors? But that's a fundamental talk. But no, but the second point I'm wanting to make when I say that is the greed and the complacency in the Robin Hooders of trading for entertainment and go on and on and on is live and well. And that's all I gotta say. This is crazy. Right, so Airbnb is gonna come out today. Yeah, and let's see what, I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee anything, but the odds suggest that we're gonna have some crazy, action in Airbnb too. I really think that whole Robinhood generation is creating a lot of these crazy moves. I really do. All right, I got a couple of alarms here going off. So I had Titan stops yesterday, and we'll have to go through there, and I'll take a look at them in 5 minutes. All right, Tesla here had an ugly reversal yesterday, gapping down. TSM, no pattern. Bullish gap. If this were to get over yesterday's high, VRNT, and it would be strong. CMTL, a mess. IAC, a mess. NCNO earnings, no pattern. GEF, that's a breakout. There you go. That's relative strength. Oh no, wait. I see it gapping down here. All right, so the specialist is still finishing his coffee because he's not even printing the first print yet. CSX. Diego, I do like the gap. I do like the price void. So I would say give it like 10 minutes